Welcome to the Big Roofs Podcast, the podcast where we talk to successful roofing contractors and industry leaders about how you can build a bigger, better, more profitable roofing business. We're your hosts, John and AJ, and today's guest is Nicole Schwarz, owner or co-owner of Ascent Roofing in Bend, Oregon. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Co-owner. Yeah.
Okay. We're your hosts, John and AJ. Let's get into it. So, Nicole, thanks for joining us. Um, yeah, how's everything going for Ascent Roofing today?
It's good. It's good. It's been a learning curve for sure. Um, we're just kind of getting used to roofing in general, and more so just the reputation that roofers have, especially in our area, and trying to stand out and be that difference and keep those like hard lines of like, hey, we're not going to cross that line and stick with kind of what we know, but also learning and growing as we go. So it's been good. It's been a good learning curve.
I love it. I love it. How long has it been since you guys started now?
We're coming up on a year, coming up
Nice.
on our first year.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, very.
Yeah. I feel like, and I think this is a huge thing for a lot of people getting into business is that I've seen with you is you guys move very fast. It's like you figure out whether or not something works, and if it's not working, you move on fast, and that's such a good skill to have.
Yeah, for sure. I
Um,
think that just goes for like business in general. You have to learn how to pivot. You can't just stay stuck on something. You can have your idea or your desire to see how it goes, but it's probably not going to go that way. And you just have to be able to pivot and ride the waves. And it's a challenge. It's every day it's a challenge, but it's
yeah.
fun. It makes it interesting.
Yeah, what would you say has been your biggest challenge getting into roofing this past year? Is there anything that
Um,
stands out?
yeah, I mean, I think you always have like the same problem that any other business can have in any other industry. You have your labor issues, you have your competition, you have your price shoppers, you have all that stuff. But I think that the biggest challenge for us on a daily basis is just like put our heads down, stay in our lane, focus on our goals, stay true to who we are, keep that high integrity, and keep showing up how we want to show up to our customers every single day and keeping that like hope and that like knowing that okay, we're going to make a difference, like we're going to get over this hump, we're going to come over this objection, we're going to show up to the people that want to like be in front of us and that we want to be in front of. So it's just kind of holding on to that like keep going mentality of we're doing the right thing, we're saying the right things, we're educating, we're doing things how we want and what we believe in, and to just keep going. So I think, like any business has business issues, labor shortage, price increases, things like that. But it's just staying like in your lane and not focusing on those things, but just figuring out a solution and keep going. So it's, especially in our market here, it's been a challenge for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
What market are you in right now? Bend, you said Bend, Oregon, is that right?
Yeah, we're in Bend, Oregon, Central Oregon, Bend, Redmond, Lapine, Prineville, kind of that whole area.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you're so right about the determination part of any business. But I mean, this is we're starting our ninth year right now, and it's still that way.
Yeah.
It's like you just can't. There is no plan B. I know it's very stereotypical, cliches we always say, but they're so true because you have to just continue to, like you said, stay in your lane is very, very true in the roofing space and the residential roofing space specifically because it's such a bad rap for most people. The most complaints, Better Business Bureau, like there's all kinds of things. So yeah. And then I love what you said about basically, well, we talked about pivoting really quickly. Like I was really bad at that. It's like the hire slow, fire fast kind of mentality
Yeah,
for whatever it is, not just people, but like systems that you have. Hey, this is working, this is not working.
for
Oh,
sure.
it'll get better. It won't get better. You've got to change really quickly.
Yep.
And I made that mistake for years and still feel like I struggle with that too. So that's the determination part is like I'm not some crazy type A, like crazy salesperson, but there is a level of craziness that I have, just determination that you have to have. Like if you don't
You got
have
to be a little crazy.
it, like this is a crazy thing to do. Like the risk reward is sometimes doesn't feel like it's there when
I know.
keep going. So
Yeah.
I love that though. It's a great mentality.
Yeah, we're totally in that frame. In fact, I mean, I'll just be honest, like a couple months ago, we were like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like we need to find a different industry. This industry doesn't fit who we are and what we believe in. And then we kind of like took a step back and did some like internal searching, and we were like, wait a minute, okay, all the problems that we're facing are just general business problems. Like any industry would have this. We just have to have that like stamina and the grit to like keep going and just stay true to who we are. Honestly, that's like the biggest thing. Is so many people in our market are, they will go above and beyond and do certain things just to make a dollar. And we are just not willing to cross those lines. And if that means that we grow slower or we miss a sale or whatnot, then we're willing to risk that. Obviously, you have to make money. It's a business. Business is business, but also we have to do it in a way that we can sleep at night.
That's totally true.
And keep the morals and keep true to who we are. And I think it'll help with profits down the road. So
Yep. I've struggled with that my whole career. I've been in the roofing space since professionally since 2009. So almost 15 years. Yeah, it's really difficult because I know what you're saying without saying it. Like there's just it's 95% of the roofing companies are out there doing things that are essentially different than what our standards are, our values are. And so that's really hard whenever the customer's choosing the other people. And then you're like, what are we doing? And like for, all transparency for us, like if it could go wrong, it went wrong this year for us. And this is our, that was our 8th year in business. And so, again, crazy for staying with it, but yeah, there's no other option. We're going to continue moving forward. Everything you're saying resonates with me as well. And our team, like it's really easy to attract good people for your team if you have a set of standards you're willing to live by. Cause they're like, oh no, this is like, it's been weird for me. I've always attracted good team members and good crews.
Yeah.
Like, so production, sales, administration, all that has been very easy for us because of exactly what you're saying. Yeah. It's not that hard when you have a set of values that you're willing to live by. And the consequence can be, not always, but it can be a slower growth, you're not hitting your numbers that you want to hit, but eventually it will happen because you'll surround yourself with enough good people that your customers will be those good people too. And it'll leak out into the entire culture of the business. So keep doing
That's the thing. You gotta find your people. And we have just this like unwavering belief in our values. We spend a lot of time, like we're big planners. And so we do vision boards every year and just personally. And so we did a vision board for the company. And we actually just like printed our core values, like right above our computer. So I'm looking right here, and it's integrity, happiness, teamwork, connection, and effectiveness. And so we just have it like in our face that no matter what we do, we will live by those things. Hiring, firing, jobs, sub crews, like whatever we do, we're living by those things. So with the customer in mind first.
Yeah. What do you guys do when a potential customer comes to you and asks you to do something that crosses one of those lines? How do you guys how do you guys handle that?
I'm trying to think if we've had that happen. I can think of a couple times when we have, and it was like a repair and they wanted us to do a repair a certain way. And it just, one, it was going to be like an insurance issue. It was going to be a big liability on our part. And then 2, it was just kind of like writing that line of, okay, can we still keep teamwork with doing this? Or like, does this show connection if we do it this way or whatever? And If that answer is like no, or we're unsure, we're just honest. Like, I am a very blunt, upfront person. My husband is not as much. He's very, very good at like sugarcoating more. And I'm not. So he deals with the customer front for sure. But
Diplomatic. That's what you say, diplomatic. He's good at
yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, he's very good at that. But he just tried to keep it, hey, we're not trying to tell you no, but hey, here's a different route that we could do it, that we would be comfortable with. And hey, you know what? We may not be the best fit for you. And we're totally okay with that. We have turned down numerous jobs, as hard as that is to do, if it's not our person or our project or the right one for us. So we just try to be nice about it and make sure that they know and try to educate. That's kind of a stance that we try to take on all of our projects, is educational, making sure that they understand why we won't sell an ICO shingle. And we want to make sure that they understand why we won't sell an ICO shingle. We sell certain packages because of a reason, because we've done the research, we know the product, we believe in it, and we don't want to put a product on someone's house that we don't believe in. So we just really try to educate the person on why we want to do it this way and why we won't do it this way. And at the end of the day, if we're just not the right contractor for them, then we make sure they know, like, it's okay, no hard feelings. We're just not the right fit. So
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. Let's come back. I obviously want to talk more about your business and what you've learned and all that. But let's also talk about your background. You and your husband's background. Where did you guys come from? What were you doing before you got into the roofing space?
yeah, so my background is like legal and insurance. And then I also own my own virtual assistant agency. So I'm very like admin oriented, really good at the organizational stuff, behind the scenes stuff, getting the processes, procedures, the handbooks, just all of those things. It's just kind of my personality. So that's kind of my background. And so I have a very like risk, legal, insurance, like mind frame. So my husband's always like, can we do this? I'm like, no, don't do that. Or do it this way or whatever. We show up on job sites and I'm like, those guys aren't strapped in. They need to be strapped in. And then my husband's background, so he was a firefighter for years in Oklahoma City, and it was a fantastic career for us. It provided us so much, but we always wanted to be in the mountains, and so we always tell people, we're just chasing our dreams. And so most firefighters are type A personality, and they usually have like a side job, and roofing was one of his side jobs. He did roofing in Oklahoma City for a local contractor. And so he has done the sales, he's done the project management, he's done all that stuff in the roofing industry. We moved here and he briefly worked for another company, and we've always been very like entrepreneurial at heart. And that was always our goal, to like start our own thing when we moved here. But it was just kind of, what is that thing? And then it became very clear to us the need here for good, honest, reliable, high integrity roofers. And, not just people that plaster that on their website and say that that's how they operate, but truly operate that way. And I know that that's who we are and how we will continue to stand no matter what. And so we just saw a huge opportunity for that and just decided to start it on our own. And we started it on like a weekend. We filed for the LLC and we were like, we're going to do it. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
Love that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great story right there. Yeah. So you jumped in almost a year ago and did that weekend, got everything started. Did you go into it with any sort of like expectations of like what you guys would hit, like how big the company would get in a year? Or were you kind of just like, let's just see what happens?
No, we're planners. We're big planners. So we don't do anything without like thinking of it first. It looks like on the outside that we just like started this overnight, but there's a lot of research, a lot of talks. We actually met with, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, SCORE. It's a business mentorship program, and it's free. It's totally free. And so we kind of did our own like research and stuff. We created our own business plan, and then we also met with a SCORE mentor, and he kind of giggled at us. He was like, you guys are leaps and beyond, what most people who meet with us are at. We had done like some market research. We contacted like local libraries a lot of times have some good data and some good like market research information. So we contacted our local library and they pulled all kinds of data for us. So we've done a lot of research. And so our numbers we felt were pretty fair to attain. And we're not quite there yet. We're probably about halfway to our goal and we're running out of months, obviously, but we also know first year in business, it can just go either way. But yeah, we definitely had like a number and a goal in mind of what we thought was reasonably attainable, just based on some data and research that we did.
Yeah.
You're in the minority. Most people are like me. Oh, I got fired, or I need my old boss owes me a bunch of money, and I got to do roofing. And that's what I hear 100 times out of 100. Basically, it's like it's always a start. So kudos to you guys for being able to have that planning and just be able to start that way, because you are. I mean, because we talk on the Roofer Show with Dave Sullivan a lot, and it's the conversations are shocking. And these are some of these people, they have like a bunch of money too. They're like sold their business, but then they're like, I just want to do roofing because I know that you can make money. I'm like, that's probably not the smartest way to do it. Like,
no,
what's your market? Like, all those things really matter. Like understanding your market, understanding like the average, like the salary, the household income, like these things are hugely important. And people are just like, oh, roofing, everyone needs a roof.
Let's just start it. I know.
Let's go.
And that is right to a point, and that's kind of where we saw like there was just a huge need here, because I mean we have a lot to learn, obviously, but we like to think we're somewhat good at business. We have a small like rental home portfolio back in Oklahoma that we run and manage. We've both had our own companies multiple times, and we like to think we consider some of that stuff. And we always joke and we're like, anyone can sling shingles, but not just anyone can start a profitable business. And you have to know the business stuff. You have to know where your numbers are at. You have to know what your margins are. You have to know what the need is. When it comes time to hiring a salesman, how much do you have to pay that guy? Is that going to pay his living expenses? Is it even worth it for him? So you have to know all that stuff. And that's business, right? Like that's not just roofing, it's just business.
Yep. Totally true. We talk about this. Dimitri made a video a long time ago on Roofing Insights, at least 2 years ago. And I don't know if he's still, I'm not going to speak for him now because it was at least 2 years ago, but he talked about the 5 parts of business and he pretty much made them equal. And I don't know, I know that's going to change for everyone, but if you don't have a marketing strategy and you actually execute it, if you don't have a sales process and you actually execute it, you don't have the admin down, like that's 20%. And then we talk about sales and production. Like everyone else, like they're doing sales or production.
Yeah.
And that's it. They're like, oh, well, what about the accounting part? Like the accounting matters. Like you have to know your accounting side of things. Your accounting admin things get overlooked so much. And the marketing is like, I have to hire a marketing company, but it's always those 3. And then the sales and production are like, we'll sell roofs and we'll build them.
For sure. It's funny. We binged so many of Dimitri's YouTube videos when we were starting this, because he had some great tips and some great things to think about. And we almost got like information overload, but we have this silly thing now that we do because we know how important it is to like know your numbers, know your marketing, know your sales process. And we've gotten 1,000 compliments on our sales process. People love it when they actually are able to experience the full process. But the other thing we do, it's silly, it's called Finance Fridays. And so every Friday, we come in and we update all of our finances. We look at things, we go over our P&L report, our balance sheet, everything, so that we have a really good grasp. Because as you know, roofing is very large, like intakes and very large outtakes every single week. And so there's just so much fluctuation there. Like you've got to have a close grip on it.
Yeah.
Or you can be what we like to call your Robin Peter to pay Paul, which is where so many roofing companies today get stuck. And then it's so hard to get out of once you're there.
We do that I just started doing this every Thursday morning with Tisha. She will send me the P&L accounts receivable, accounts payable will review everything. And sometimes there's mistakes. And it's like, hey, you should probably know that. And like, let's don't overpay because we haven't been paid for this. Let's, it's really important because some people, and I was the same way. Oh, let's just meet once a month for an hour.
Yeah.
It's a really foolish thing because the like you.
Oh, are we losing them?
Uh-oh, maybe.
Oh, we're here. I'm here.
There we
Gotcha.
go. He's back.
The swing in the cash account is so huge that if you don't meet every 7 days, you have a big problem, and you could really mess yourself up. Like I did this so many times. I want to do this marketing plan. I want to do this thing, and I have this money. I'm like, oh no, wait, and then all of a sudden we're behind on something, and so it's really, I love that because people need watching and listening need to understand that should be what you do. You should meet every week, and you should do exactly. I mean, we pick Thursdays, you guys pick Fridays. Do it every week, and never stop doing that because it will save you, and saved me in the past 3 months a ton of headache.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things that we like read about roofing companies in specific is just because there's such a large like fluctuation there in the cash account, it can be so easy, and they end up failing, 5 to 7 years in because we're selling a bunch of jobs. We sold $1 million in roofing, but oh no, we have no cash to show for it. Like, where did all of our cash go? And that happens so fast. So we are definitely, it's important. And I mean, we're trying to treat it like a business, yeah, you can sell roofs all day, but if you don't have profits, you don't have a business.
Yep. Very true.
Yeah. What I really like about how you guys are approaching this is that you have a really good mixture of both the planning, the management, the day-to-day management, and then also the execution. And you guys really are doing, you guys are really doing all three quite well. And that's something that is really common, like when people are getting into business, especially for the first time, is they're usually really good at one of those. And so they're either really good at planning and then can't actually execute or pivot or move quickly, or they're really good at executing but have no plan, or they're good at that but then no ability to manage. So it is really, and it seems like you and your husband are kind of a team on that. Is one of you more kind of stronger on one side than the other?
For sure. I would say like the things that he's not good at, I'm good at. The things that I'm not good at, he's good at. And so we really balance that out. I mean, we have our moments, like it's not perfect. Business is not perfect. Ownership is hard. Ownership as a husband and wife is even harder. But I think that we just really try to take, like, when we're in our business shoes, we're in our business shoes. And I'm talking to him and I'm managing and I'm doing these things, not as his wife, but as like the manager or the CFO or whatever you want to call it. And really trying to like reel back and say, okay, let's, think about the customer. Let's think about the business. Let's get in those shoes and in that frame of mind versus like having a like emotional side to it. So we really try to keep like a business as business. And with that though, like I said, the things that, I'm not good at or not as strong in, he is. And so we know that too. And communication is a big part of that. How we communicate, when we communicate, stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Have you read this book here? It's probably not
it's not showing. It's not showing.
It's called the Your World Class Assistant by Michael Hyatt.
No, but I love Michael Hyatt, so I probably should read it.
Yeah, I'm so super surprised because you have your own VA company too. So it talks about belay and talks about a lot of other, like, just basically having a really good personal executive assistant. But there's something in there called the Freedom Compass, and I talk about it a lot. It's exactly what you were talking about. There's 4 different parts. I won't go into it, but there's the desire zone, and then there's the drudgery zone. And the desire zone is what you like and what you're good at.
Yep.
What you're proficient in. And so the goal is you do as much of your daily task in that zone. In the drudgery zone, you delegate. So it sounds like you and your husband are doing that because of your natural strengths. And that's
Yeah.
always the challenge though. Cause then there's the other two zones that are like, well, I'm good at this, but I don't like it.
Yep.
Or I'm not good at this. And it's really, it's difficult, but that is essentially, it's not just about having an assistant or having parts of the puzzle of business. It's being good at managing yourself
Yep.
and managing other people to do those things. So, because Tisha loves that. Tisha's like, you kept telling me about this desire zone the whole time. And I was like, stop doing the drudgery things. You hate this. We'll find somebody else. And she's like, after a year, I just told you. I was like, you shouldn't have waited a year. Like same with Kathleen. It's like, which things do you want to do and which things do you not want to do? And people are scared, like, oh, I'm going to work hard. And I love that. But we should not do that long term. We can't
do it all.
No. And the customer, our customers are not going to get the best from us if we're doing things that we don't like and we're not good at. So
you're right. We were led onto a book. It's called Designing Your Life. I don't remember who it's by, but it's another one that kind of talks about that, like where you're, are you doing the things that's like giving you that like joy and that you're really good at? Like, are you in your highest performing self doing these things, or are you not? And so like he's not good at the intake calls, the emailing, the texting and scheduling and things like that. And so we really try to focus on him doing what we call like money making tasks or needle moving tasks. And so, picking up a sign from a customer's yard that, we did the replacement on a week ago, that's not a task that Ben needs to do. And so I have to like push him. I'm like, delegate that out. He's like, yeah, but you don't have time to do it. And I'm like, well, I do, and I can make time. Like I'll throw the kid in the car seat and we'll go pick up a sign, like we are a family run company and the customers that are for us are going to get that. And so we try to keep him on those like needle moving, money making tasks and not the things that he's not good at and doesn't enjoy. Because when he's excelling is when he's in a sales meeting. Like that's where he excels because that's what he's good at. That's what he enjoys. He likes being on the customer front and talking to the customer. But the, behind the scenes stuff, he doesn't enjoy. He's not good at. It's like pulling teeth to try to do that stuff. So we really just try to focus on knowing our strength and our weakness of ourself, communicating that with each other and making sure that we're both still staying in line with those things. And sometimes it takes some pushing, he's trying to do everything. And I'm like, stop trying to do everything. You need to delegate, like, let me help. So it's a challenge every day.
I like the both that side of it and when you're talking about kind of having that separation, because I think that is even we heard a similar thing from Nate Schwepp, who is not business partners with his wife, but he talks about when he gets home, there's no more work. He's completely focused on her and the kids and being with them. And I think regardless of whether you're business partners with your spouse or not, having that's one of the most challenging things I think in business, because it's so compelling. It's so easy to take it home with you just because you're so locked in and it's so engaging. But like that's so critical is being able to set those boundaries for yourself where it's like, this is the time I'm spending with the people that are important to me. This is the time I'm spending on business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll say this. I don't know if you see this, Nicole, but we tell our customers this. So like if they want to meet with us at 5:45, we're like, probably not a good fit. Or 7:30 in the morning, like probably not a good fit because you don't respect our time.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if it's one of my sales guys. They have families too. Like, we're not doing that. Like you need to understand, like we make it so easy for you. If you're trying to control our process, probably not a good fit. Like we have an excellent process. It's going to be amazing. Just let us take you on that ride. And if you fight that, not a good fit. And it's just like, it's never, in the beginning, it was so hard to say no to that. But what you said in the beginning of this conversation, maybe the most powerful thing that you can do as a small business owner is saying no to people. And in, a very, very good way, nice way to not make them mad. But like, you need to have a really clear expectation and confidence. Even if I always talk about this. AJ and I have talked about this a lot too, because it helps the homeowner and whatever your customer is. If you feel and you treat everyone like, I don't need this sale, I want to do this sale, I want to serve this customer, but I don't need it, even though you may need it.
Yep.
If you don't go through it, all those interactions like that, people talk about commission breath and things like that, but it's so much deeper than that, because you have to feel like, oh, I just sold $1 million yesterday. That's what you have to feel like, so that you treat that customer fairly. Because if you say yes when you shouldn't say yes, nobody wins. Your crew
you're doing a disservice to your customer at that point.
Yep. Everyone loses at that point. If you treat a customer differently because you need the thing, you have to understand your process.
We have a pretty good, and my husband specifically, he just from years in the fire department and anything else he's done, but he has a pretty good like vibe on people. He can read people pretty well. And we have these conversations all the time that we're like, this does not feel like our customer. They're trying to fight our process. They're trying to not do our process. You know, we don't just, do an inspection and email off a quote. That's not how we do things. We want to make sure the customer understands the quote. We go through it with them. We understand the material. We understand what they're getting. We understand what their options are. And that's our process. And if they don't fit into that, we have to step back and consider, okay, maybe this is not our customer. Like, are we going to spend, an hour with this person and then nothing? Is it worth that time for us? And is it for the salespeople in the future? And so we've worked really, really hard on developing that sales process and sticking with it, and doing so that it benefits all the parties involved. And then in regards to like the family stuff, like it feeds in with that, and it feeds in with our core value of happiness. And is my husband going to be happy doing an inspection at 5:30 p.m.? No. Would a sales guy? No. Would I at home with my 2-year-old screaming his head off trying to cook dinner? Absolutely not. So it all ties into that, like, yeah, we're a family, but also like it doesn't respect our values of happiness. And so we've got a customer that's like, hey, you can come out at 6 o'clock. Like maybe that's not the customer for us, and that's okay. It just doesn't fit with our process.
Yeah. And another side note, like we don't ring doorbells anymore, because we have kids. Like Cameron has kids. We all have kids. We all know, oh, you're there at 1 o'clock during nap time. You just woke that kid up. Yeah. It only happened one time, and the mom came. She's like, new mom.
Yeah, those are fighting words.
You just woke
for
up
a mom.
I just laid in bed for an hour getting this kid to bed. You woke him up, you stupid roofer. So,
I literally posted a sticky note on my front door. If I'm like expecting a package or something, I'm like, do not ring the doorbell.
You got to think about all that. Like, you have to understand your customer, your ideal customers, what they care about. Like it's fun, but it's also challenging as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before we hopped on today, I was just looking at your website, and I complimented your website. It's very clean, straightforward, great, just very clear communication, and I liked it. And I was like, who built your website? And then you said that you built it yourself, which I was impressed. And then you're doing a new version now, you said. So maybe talk through that. What led you to decide, I'm just going to do, because I don't see that often. Most contractors don't feel qualified to stand up their own website, and they feel they need to go hire somebody that's potentially really expensive. So do you want to walk us through kind of what your decision-making process was like there and how that's worked out?
Sure. I think like what it comes down to is we have to make sales. We do marketing, but more than anything, our biggest goal of making a sale is a relationship. And you can't necessarily have a relationship with someone online. And so our biggest thing was like, yes, we need an online presence. Yes, we need all that. That stuff is great. But budgetarily, it wasn't in the options at the beginning of starting. We didn't want to go into this business massively in debt trying to start this when it's not always necessary. If you are you and you can connect with somebody, you can make that sale. There's a couple of really good books. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a fabulous book to read if you're getting into any kind of position of sales or relationship building or anything. And then there's another one, I forget what it is now. It's a negotiation book, but it talks about different negotiation tactics. But our
Never
biggest
split the
thing was,
difference.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's what
love
ProLine's
that book.
based off of.
I have read that book probably 10 times, and I've listened to it on audio.
That's why you like ProLine.
It's an amazing book. Yeah, exactly. It's a perfect fit. But I think honestly, like originally it was like budgetarily, it just wasn't in the option, but also it was like, is it necessary? Will it make or break a sale, whether our website is a $15,000 website or a $500 website? And at the end of the day, for the customer that we want, it's not. If you're going with me because my website impresses you, was I really the right contractor for you? Maybe not. And so while that is all important and we will invest in that one day, it just wasn't one of those like money making, needle moving things that we saw that was like, okay, I can do this well enough for right now that it's going to get us out there. And then, let's build the business first. Let's prove that it's, a viable business, that it's a profitable business, and then come back in and do some of those things. It's like we had, some cheap t-shirts printed and stuff like that. Cause we're selling shingles, but we're selling us. We're selling ourselves and we're selling that relationship with somebody. And that's what's going to sell, not necessarily our business cards or our website. We need all that stuff and we have it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It's done is better than perfect. It's kind of our like, create it, get it, move on, create it, move on. It's just don't get stuck in the weeds and the little stuff.
100%. So critical.
Secret time. I'm rebuilding my website right now.
I am too.
I'm not doing it myself, but my marketing manager is.
Yeah.
And we had our website built by a very major brand in the roofing space, and it's a good website, but there's some pretty critical things that are wrong that somebody like you guys have the skills and the determination to build the website the way you want to build it. And it will be, there's pretty critical issues with our website, not necessarily aesthetic, but critical issues from an organic search perspective that we're going to fix. And there's the only way to fix it is by doing what we're doing right now. And so it's not for everybody, but I mean, literally as we're recording this, Sam, my marketing manager, she's texting me about stuff about the website because we're rebuilding it, and it's going to be way more affordable. It's a unique situation because she understands our marketing and our brand. And so there's that part of it, but then she writes code too. So so if you can, that's what I would do. Anyone in that's in any business, that's so, I love what you said. Like it's still the relationship. It's not just the website, but it needs to be done well. And I don't fault any agency for building a great website that has major issues, because it is so hard to do. You just can't know somebody's business. You can't.
It's ever changing. I mean, the industries and online stuff, it's ever changing. We have a really good friend of ours that has stepped in and helped us with some of our organic search, keyword, SEO, all that stuff. John O'Slade with Slade Insights. He's been amazing for us. He's kind of the same like brain that I am, of like, I like it to look good and be clean and like this box be the perfect size. I love all that stuff, but it's not perfect. I have mistakes on our website all over the place. But when it comes down to it, are you organically ranking? And if you're not, you're spending thousands to have the paid marketing, and we're paying for some marketing, but minimally. We're really trying to push hard for some organic ranking. And if you look at like other, competitors in your area, are they really organically ranking, or are they just paying for that spot? And is there a place for you to like slide in there and rank organically? And so that's kind of been our focus recently with Jono's help, has been kind of transforming the website on the back end to make sure that we're ranking organically. So any marketing SEO experts can attest to this too. But, the pretty stuff is like, pop it over and it's done, especially with like things like Squarespace and Wix and all that kind of stuff. But it's knowing the behind the scenes stuff on the SEO and the organic keywords and things like that that really comes in handy.
Yep. And not ranking for things you don't, like she just said, do you guys do citing? She's like, she knows it. I'm like, no, please remove that blog. I don't want to rank for citing at all. I don't want I don't want to suck up any of that organic search for the things that we do. And so it's a never ending, like you said, never ending battle to and constantly changing. Google changes, it feels like all the stinking time. The algorithm changes, what you do is, and it's going to get even more crazy. Like over the next
consumers.
Oh yeah.
Consumers change. How you search for things changes. Like how I search for things now versus how I searched for things a year ago, it's totally different. The reviews that I read, the videos that I watch, like all that stuff is just different. And so you have to stay with your customers or your consumers. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind.
Yep.
I think you touched on something really, really important around the decision around a website. And both of you talking about, like John, your inability to change, kind of update and fix your existing website, and then where you started on, you're on Wix right now, Nicole. So I think it's super important. It is way better to have a simple to update website that's changeable, like straightforward, simple, communicates your message, but it's easy to update and change over time as things change, than something that's super nice and polished, but then it's really hard to change over time. And so it's, I used to be marketing agency. John was one of my clients back in the day. And at the time, I would really like talk down on things like Wix and Squarespace. And at the time, they were really rough, and there's a lot of issues with them. But now they've worked out the kinks, and it is so much better for you as a business owner to be able to jump in, make those changes on the fly, than it is for you to have the super fancy website.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think that's at all stages of business. I don't think that will ever change, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even better as a new business, right? Because we're an LLC, that's it. Like we are Ascent Roofing and Exteriors LLC. We don't necessarily have that name brand built up in our community yet, but where people are like, oh, we recognize your logo. Oh, that's Ascent. Oh, that's Nicole with Ascent. We don't have that brand identity yet. And so we're still figuring that out. So having that ability to, oh, we want to tweak this, or oh, we want to change this a little bit, jump in there and change it on a Saturday morning before your kid wakes up. That's what we need. And that's what works for us. And that's not necessarily works for everybody, but I have those skills. I have that time. I have the ability. And as we are learning who we are as a company and getting ourselves out there in our community, it's going to be ever changing.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Absolutely. It gets really expensive if you've been in business for a long time. I'm like, oh gosh. And it's been just a nightmare with that for me this year. And you need to be unique. You need to be very confident in your brand, the logo, the name. I know people are going to understand who Nicole is with Ascent, but there is a confusion level when you have Ascent for a long time and you switch, or you have Delaria Roofing for a long time and then you have Peach Roofing. So that's one of my regrets is I didn't have the time to plan the brand out so that it could be, the color palette. I'm looking at my van. I just got my van wrapped. I'm looking at the color palette's different. It's way more recognizable than everything that's in both of our markets. It's just something that as SEO changes, as all the PPC, all paid everything changes, the brand part is becoming even more important and valuable because it's you have to stand out. And that's why I just spent $9,000 on a freaking van wrap.
Yeah.
Because it's and we just did
need to do that too.
That's one thing I actually regret too. I regret just doing the vinyl for a long time. I'm glad I didn't do it with the old brand, but I wish I'd had an amazing brand and I fully wrapped the vehicles, because they think that we have 100 vehicles now.
Yeah.
because of the wrap trucks. And it's oh, well, that's way better than a billboard. And and people see us all the time. It's super easy to read. It is definitely, I'm seeing this trend. I think it's going to get even more like this. People are not going to be able to afford the pay to play. They're just not. Most people like us are not going to be able to pay. You have to be way over 6 or 8 million in revenue with a huge marketing budget to be able to compete in that world. So the way you compete is by having really good branding in the physical world. yard signs, door hangers, all that is going to be, it's the future for the next, I would say 3 to 5 years, because no one's going to be able to pay all that.
Yeah, and it's more in like what we believe in too. Like, I mean, we're paying to play. We're doing that very minimally, but we are doing some of it. But it's more just kind of how we want to take our company and how we want it to grow too. Like we don't want to grow to where we can't sustain it. Where, okay, yeah, we've paid to get all these clicks and things and we're growing like crazy, but we can't sustain it because we grew too fast. So we want that sustainable growth. But I'll tell you, we felt so behind. So we started the company like last October, but we really didn't like hit the ground like selling until January. We really spent like that last quarter of the year planning, figuring things out, like our logo, the colors. We did like color research, like
That's
figuring
awesome.
out like, what does your color mean? How do people view your colors? Like, what does it mean? Is it friendly? Is it, scary? Is it giving them like a different vibe? And we've had so many compliments on our logo and our color and like how welcoming and friendly. And so it's definitely a brand, and it's building yourself in a community. It's recognizable, but not just as Ascent, but like knowing us on that like relationship level. And we have run into so many of our customers just like in town. I call this like our little big town because it's much smaller than Oklahoma City, but it's still kind of like big in a sense. But people recognize us and they know who we are and what we stand for. And that's just part of that, brand building and recognition that we're working hard for.
Nice.
Yep. Absolutely love that. Let's jump over to talk about, I know you had kind of a wild ride with finding a CRM to run your business off of.
Yes.
So I know you already did a testimonial videos, so I don't want to spend too much time on this, but do you want to just walk through what that journey was like, trying to find a good CRM?
Sure. Am I allowed to like name names?
We won't say it, but you can say whatever you want.
I can? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
It was funny. I had my call with James, the sales guy, and I told him, I was like, I'm gonna warn you, I'm a very hard sale. And I think if you probably go back and like watch our video call, I seem like a real hard ass, but I'm not. It was just that I was like so fed up with all these different CRMs telling us, oh, we do this, oh, we do that, yeah, we do this, oh, this is included. And it freaking wasn't. It was not. At the end of the day, it was not. It was, yeah, you have, digital signature, but oh, by the way, you have to pay for every single one that you send. What? Do you know how many estimates I send per day? That's insane. And so we've jumped around. We, of course, when we first started, we did, the Google search best CRM for roofing companies, and ProLine did not pop up. Hopefully they do now. But
Working on it.
several others that are out there, AccuLinks, Job Nimbus, Roof, I mean, all these different CRMs popped up. And so, of course, I went to work. Me being the like digital app person, my husband hates computers. I knew that there were certain things that we needed. I wanted some kind of a CRM. I wanted the digital signature ability. I wanted everything in one simple, clean place so that a 5-year-old could do it. And I say 5-year-old, but in my mind, it was like, okay, can my husband do this? Can he figure this out easily, simply? Can he do it at home? Can he do it on the road? Can he manage the software easily? And every single one of them were like, yeah, we can. Yeah, we do that. And we would pay the money and we'd get into the CRM and it was like, okay, you don't do this. How do I do this? How do I fix this? And they would be like, oh, well, we have a Zapier connection, or, oh, we have this. And it was like, oh my gosh, where's the integrity? Like, just be honest with me about what you do and what you don't do. And I can make that decision for what's best for my company. Because like at the end of the day, for most of these, it was not that they didn't do the thing, it was that they told me they did it and then they didn't. And that's where I lost that trust and that honesty with them, that I no longer wanted to do business with them because they weren't honest. And I remember my call with James, he was very honest and he took the approach of, hey, let's make sure that ProLine is the right CRM for you, because it may not be. But we want to learn what you need. We want to learn what you want and see if we're a good fit. And I so appreciated that, honesty obviously he was selling me, obviously, but it wasn't a pushy, like, ProLine has to work for you mentality. It was kind of, John, what you were saying of like, I just sold, 10 customers yesterday. I don't need you. You might need me, but let's figure that out. And so I didn't feel pushed, and it just felt like, okay, he'll actually be real and honest with me about what ProLine does and what it doesn't do. And I got that in that phone call. And so immediately I had that, like, know, and trust factor that you need in a sales process. But on top of that, ProLine did hit all of those different dots for us. It did the things that it said it was going to do. It had a simple QuickBooks integration. It had the digital signatures. There was no hidden fees. It wasn't, oh, you have this, but then you also have to connect this, and it's an additional $20 a month for this. And, all these different hoops to jump through. It's simple. Here's what it does. Go. And that's what I so appreciated about ProLine, and what I continue to appreciate. Your customer service is incredible. The response time is fantastic. All of your agents have been so easy and clean and seamless to work with. There's no question afterhand. It's hey, we have a fix, or hey, we don't. Here's what you can do in the meantime. And it's just honest. So that's really what we appreciate. But yeah, we've been around the hoops with our different CRMs. We were ready to just create our own. And I quickly realized that was a 2 to 3 year process to start creating our own. And I was like, okay, well, we don't have time to do that. So there's got to be something else out there. And I don't even remember how I found ProLine. I think I saw you guys tagged in a Facebook group, jumped in there, and like you said, I'm quick to act. I'm like, okay, I know this CRM is not working for me. Let's find one that does. And when I saw ProLine mentioned, I was like, okay, let's set up a call. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's make a decision. And you guys made that super easy. Got on a call with James and got the answers I needed, and did the demo, and was super impressed and continue to be impressed. You guys have grown so far, even from when we joined you. I mean, the things you've added on has just been crazy. So super cool to see.
Thank you so much. That's incredible praise.
Yeah, we've been
really appreciate that.
Super happy.
Good.
ProLine team, awesome. I always say they help my business so much. And I use it. People may not know this, but I use the same thing.
Yep.
Yes, I have some access that people don't have, but I actually I tell my team, just use the little box at the bottom right, and then have a question, get it answered. The documentation, yep. Like if you don't know how to do something, there's so much documentation. Like there's videos, there's things like there's instruction on how to do it if you need to do it yourself. Yep. And also I've paid people to help me customize my own ProLine. Like, I think it's important. I did that with Job Nimbus too. So like, why would I not do it here and have all my proposals customized, my process, and I continue to do it too. Like I need to go back through and continue to improve the customer experience. Cause that's, if I really care about my customers, and I also care about how my team uses ProLine. Like, this is a quick story. Cameron worked for me 5 years ago. Before, when we had Job Nimbus, we had nothing. We had all these problems we couldn't figure out the solutions to. And then he was a teacher. He was a teacher for like four years. And then he came back and worked with me. He's like, you did all the things with ProLine. So it's like, and we continue to get better. We just found problems, had solutions, and truly AJ and the whole team really do continually try to be like, okay, what's important for contractors? How does this make the contractors win? And that's exactly what, I mean, it's easy. Again, you want to hire great people for your team. ProLine will help that. Like, because they're like, this is amazing. Like when I showed this to Clay, when I hired him like 6 or 8 months ago, he was like, this is amazing. It follows up for me. It does all he's like, yes, I want this. Cause he's from it's awesome. It's really, really easy to attract people when you have something that's powerful.
That was a huge selling point for us, was the automations. And I know I've said this on some of my testimonials, but update since then, we've probably sold 3 or 4 jobs at least just on the automations alone. And we, you guys had all those automations that were already thrown in there. We tweaked like 1 or 2 of them slightly, but you've used them, you knew they worked. And so I would be stupid to just keep trying to like recreate it when if it works, let's keep using it, you know, tweak it a little bit or change this a tad, but if it works, why, you know, you don't need to create it yourself. But it is definitely the automations alone have saved us a few times. So
Good. I think, yeah, really appreciate that. I'm glad that it's working for you so well. I think the thing that we're really trying to do differently, that I think it all comes back to is before we were a CRM, because we did not start as a CRM, we started as an automation tool that integrated with CRMs. And I sat down with one of this is before we were CRM, and you know, no one knew that we were going to become a CRM. And I sat down with the CEO of one of the major roofing CRMs, and was talking with him and talking about you know, text messaging and the automations and stuff that we provided. And I remember talking to him about how we were doing things differently when it comes to automations and text messaging, and why that was important. And what he said to me was, I think you're overthinking it. If you just check the box, none of these contractors are actually smart enough to know the difference. And I'm paraphrasing. It wasn't quite that. It was very close to that though. And it shocked me. And I was like, what a terrible mentality when it comes to building a product is, let's just check the box so we can say that we cover it on the demos, but then not actually build something that's designed to solve the problems. It's such a short-sighted way of thinking about building a product, especially a software product.
Well, and 20 years ago, 30 years ago, maybe that would have worked, but there's so much more new information out there at your fingertips. And I'm not trying to like put the light on me, but I'm not your typical roofing business owner. I'm just not. But there are more and more people like me that are taking it as a business standpoint. And I'm not laying shingles myself, but I know business and I know automations and I know technology, and there's more and more people out there like, you cannot trick me. And there's people that are on top of that stuff. So 20 years ago, that mentality may have worked. And you had, you know, your rough and tough contractor that's doing the shingle laying himself, and he's running the business, and he's got, you know, his accountant on the side that's helping him, but he doesn't know, you know, all the different possibilities with the CRMs, nor does he probably care. That's not his forte. That's not where he's, you know, excelling, and that's not where he's doing the things that he enjoys. But now you've got people like me and other admins and other marketing professionals that are in these roofing businesses, and they know what it needs. They see the need, and they see that it is a possibility. It's just finding someone to listen and say, okay, you're telling me that you do need this. Let's consider, why do you need that? What would it look like? How would it change your business? Could it help other people? But just someone willing to have that conversation is what's so huge.
Yep. You said two things. The first was several minutes ago about essentially integrity. So it's like, hey, we actually, because I deeply care about, if we're going to sell, like when AJ and I were getting together, like, okay, we're going to sell to other contractors. Well, I want to be able to sleep at night. Be like, hey, we're selling something to them that I would use in my business, that I care about, that we're not just checking a box. It really matters, because I want those people. It's very emotional to watch the success of other contractors just because they bought our software. Yeah. And it's like, it's a huge thing. And then you're exactly right. The second point is the types of contractors that you and I are definitely minority still. However, that group is growing, and it is, you can't trick us. Like you said, we care about those things. We want it to work. We want to communicate. We actually do care about our customers. We are not just trying to sling shingles and sell roofs. We're trying to actually have that long-term, real relationship in our community. Oklahoma City, this reminds me, I think it's Kansas, not Oklahoma, Kansas. Their average roofing contractor the LLC lasts 11 months. And
Probably
so
Oklahoma too.
yeah, it's just like the storm area of the world. So, but that group is shrinking. Like
Yep.
fortunately for the homeowners, because
Yeah.
now we have owners who want to do the right thing and they want to buy software that actually helps them continue that relationship with their homeowners long term, because we have all those long-term like referral drips with ProLine.
Yep.
Coming from our phone numbers, and like we get referrals 6 months later, 8 months later, because of we want to keep that relationship. So it's those 2 points are really, really important, that we want to sleep at night by the things that we offer. Is ProLine a good fit or is it not? And then the group, the high integrity business owners that own roofing businesses is fortunately increasing in size.
Yep.
So it's a really good point that you're making, that you're exactly right. We're not going to trick anybody.
Yeah.
That group is shrinking.
You know, we think of it as like, okay, we're willing to give on, does this help me and my business? And will this help me day to day? Like, I would be willing to have 4 different, platforms if it meant that it was helping me. Like, I'll juggle through all that. But at the end of the day, our deciding factor is, how is this making our process easy for our customer? Is it clear? Is it simple? Is it easy for them to open it up and understand? Is there any question or issue that they're going to have? And that's where we make our decisions, right? Like, it's helpful for us, and like we have to have business things, but at the end of the day, it's like we sit and we ask, like, okay, is this affecting our customer? Does this help our customer? Will this benefit our customer? And that's where that piece was just missing. Like, there was just that missing piece. It was like all these CRMs were about the business, and that's great. Like, we have to have the help as the business, but I want you to care about my customer. I want you to care about how I see my customer and how I'm helping my customer. And I don't remember like what clicked when it was like, okay, that's what ProLine cares about. Like, you care about us doing well, but you also care about how we are presenting ourselves to our customer, and that we're presenting ourselves how we want. And that's what we've gotten with ProLine. We've gotten ourselves presented as the communicators, the educators, all that stuff. And it's clean and simple process, and our customers get that. And a lot of that is due to ProLine.
AJ and I have had countless conversations about this exact same thing, that our customers, yes, they're contractors at ProLine, but if we can make our contractors' customers love them, then ProLine wins, because it's all about the communication and about their experience. If we can do that, then and it takes a lot of minutia, like small things that matter, that are like, oh, this is actually helpful. This is what people want. And homeowners want this. So like, we're going to continue to try to think that, and that because I'm seeing it every day. I have those conversations with homeowners, because I still have those conversations with different people trying to make that decision. So I want to see how, and I ask, and they tell me, and so that's a really, really, that's how ProLine's been able to grow the way it's been able to grow, because of that interaction with homeowners.
It's something, I think I just remember what it was, and it was something so simple. You guys are going to laugh at it. The thing that like clicked for us, I remember having this conversation. The proposal, whenever you pull it up, so we're in a community, we're a full retail model primarily. We have very, very little insurance claims here. It's a very affluent community. It's mostly retail. So these are huge expenses, and it's just a different customer. And there's a lot of older customers. There's a lot of customers that are our age here, but your older customers, sometimes they don't want to do the e-signature. They want you to come and they want you to bring a paper copy. Bring me a paper copy and I will sign a paper copy. And if they do that, we're like, great, yeah, we'll be there at 3. But one of the other CRMs that we tried, you could not download a freaking PDF of the proposal. And that was like mind-blowing to me. And so when I saw that little download button on our proposal under ProLine, I was like, done, sold. We can do it both ways. Like, we can meet customers at their need both ways, whether they're digital or print. Like, it's so simple. Like you said, it's the little the minutia stuff that makes a difference. And by us being able to print that, that made my customer happy, which made me happy, which, you know, correlated down to ProLine. So it's just having that, like the relationship, the partner, all that stuff that's like, you help me, I help you. Pat my back, I'll pat yours.
It's good feedback.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Well, this has been great, Nicole. Thank you so much. This has been really fun just talking and learning about what you guys are doing. Let's finish. We like to finish with a fun little question. So just what are you looking forward to the most in, we'll just say the coming 30 days? Like, what is there anything big coming up for you guys, either personally or in business, that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah. I mean, holidays, we're kind of, this winter is different for us. We have extreme cold temperatures here. And last winter, we didn't know, like it was our first winter here. We had just moved here. And so you don't know what you don't know. And so we were like all in a tizzy, you know, in a panic of like, oh, we've got to sell, we've got to do this, we've got to go here and there. And I think what we're looking forward to is like, honestly, the slowdown. You know, we know what to expect now. We know like this is just what it is. Like you got to go with the ebbs and flows of business and sell as much as you can. But at the end of the day, like you're going to have this slowdown and just try to enjoy it. So that's, you know, we're going to work hard and keep pushing and going, but just know how to handle that kind of slowdown a little bit better. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be nice. It'll be a good breath.
Nice. Nice. Are you guys going to do any kind of off-season work, like Christmas lights or ice dams or anything like that?
Yeah, I think so. We ice dams, we may be limited there, but Christmas lights, we definitely want to. And honestly, our thought process behind that, we're a fully like subcontractor model. And so our thought process is kind of the same thing, like let us pat your back, you pat ours. Like they've done so much good work with us this past season, and we want to help them. We want to help them, you know, continue through a hard season. Like we understand it's a slowdown, it's a seasonal business. And if we can help them by saying, hey, let's do Christmas lights, then that's probably what we'll try to do. So we'll probably try to get some of our subs going on some of that, but not pressing it too hard. So
Yeah, totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Well, this has been great. Thanks so much. And
yeah, thank you.
we'll wrap it up there. Yeah. So we'll see everybody next week.
Okay,
Bye, everybody.
awesome.